Passchendaele, a small village name in Flanders that sounds like something pulled from a history textbook. But to the soldiers of 1917, it was not a word. It was mud. It was water. It was cold. And it was fear. Not only of the enemy, but of the ground itself, a ground that could swallow a man without a single shot fired. Autumn 1917. The Western Front is stuck in a permanent deadlock. No clean breakthroughs, only meters purchased with thousands of lives. On both sides, exhaustion and stubbornness. The war has become a machine that demands fuel, and the fuel is human beings. Flanders is low country. Drainage ditches, flat fields, villages, roads raised on embankments. Before the war, people grew grain here, raised cattle, lived ordinary lives. Now the same fields sit under weeks of artillery thunder. Shells tear the soil apart, as if it's being ground into pulp. Craters fill with water. Ditches vanish. Trees are no longer trees, only black broken stakes. And the rain, common in Flanders even in peacetime, turns everything into one vast swamp. This is the Third Battle of Ypres. For British command, it is an attempt to push the Germans off the ridge that dominates the terrain and relieve the pressure around Ypres. For the men in the line, it is another order to move forward into a place where standing is already impossible. By the time the Canadians arrive, the battle has been raging for months. The British have tried to take Passchendaele again and again. The line has moved, but too slowly. Losses have climbed, and now the commanders turn to the formation that has earned a rare reputation on the Western Front, the Canadian Corps. The Canadians were not magicians. They could not cancel the rain. They could not silence machine guns with a heroic speech. But they had already become known as a force that could do the impossible. Because it did the work with intelligence, stubborn discipline, and ruthless follow-through. And still, even the Canadian Corps looked at Passchendaele as a problem that bordered on unsolvable. Lieutenant General Arthur Currie, the Corps commander, was not a man who loved pointless assaults. He understood that bravery without preparation is just waste. Currie studied the ground and saw the truth immediately. Here, the enemy was not only German machine guns, not only artillery, not only concrete pillboxes. Here, the enemy was logistics. Here, the enemy was the earth. Because if you cannot bring ammunition forward, if you cannot bring food forward, if you cannot evacuate the wounded, then even the bravest soldier becomes a condemned man. Currie demanded time, not because he feared the fight, but because he understood the price. He wanted roads, duck boards, supply routes, casualty stations. He said it plainly. If we go the way others have gone, Passchendaele will simply grind the corps into mud. That is something people often forget when they talk about heroism. A hero is not only the man who goes forward. A hero is also the commander who does everything possible so that the men who go forward have a chance to come back. The Canadians began with what looks boring, but decides everything. They built corduroy roads from logs. They laid endless duck boards, thin lifelines across the swamp. They strengthened communications, marked routes, created reference points in a landscape where fog and mud erase even the horizon. They brought up artillery. In 1917, artillery is not background noise. It is the main power. The Canadians relied on the creeping barrage, a moving wall of fire that inches forward while infantry advances behind it, sheltering in its shadow. It demands precision and iron nerves. Fall behind, and machine guns cut you down. Move too close, and your own shells kill you. And then the moment arrives when preparation ends. All that remains is to climb out of the trench and step into the mud. The first assault begins in late October. Night, mist, rain. Men move forward in small waves, not a wide, dramatic charge, but hard labor. Take the first line, dig in, bring up machine guns, restore communications, wait for the next step. Within minutes, everyone understands that Passchendaele is a special kind of horror. The ground will not hold you. Every movement feels like pulling your legs out of cement. Water-filled craters look like ordinary puddles until a man drops into one up to the chest. Shell bursts throw mud into the air like fountains. Duckboards slip. And always there is machine gun fire from concrete positions that small arms can barely touch. In battles like this, heroism is rarely beautiful. It looks like this. A soldier falls, stands, takes 5 more steps, falls again. He is not thinking about flags. He is thinking about not losing his rifle, about not losing his section, about not leaving his friend in the water. And this is where Passchendaele reveals its most human, most terrifying reality: the wounded. A wounded man has to be carried out. But how?